salutatorians, and we have co-salutatorians this year, and I'll tell you, it's a pleasure for a principal to have that kind of dilemma when you're looking for your top students and you have people this close to being honored in such a way. And I'm going to call each of them, both of them up individually. They're going to be doing something together, presenting something together, but I want to recognize them individually. First, I would like Ms. Suzanne Grossnickel to come forward. Suzanne? This young lady has had quite a 4 years here. She has made our school look good in the classroom and outside the classroom. Her family, I know, is very proud of her, and just a tremendous person. Dean's List every year, grades 9 through 12, academic letter for 4 years, AP Psychology Student of the Year, Science Student of the Year, AP Scholar with Honors, National Student Athlete Award recipient, Florida Academic Scholar, member of National Honor Society, French National Honor Society, treasurer of the French National Honor Society, a member of Interact. She's a member of our championship swim program. She's captain of the swim team. She's been to state umpteen times since she's been here. She's selected as who's who in sports. She works also as an instructor during the summer in swimming. She tutors. She's a DARE role model. She's participated in countless service projects with the National Honor Society. She'll be attending the University of Florida, where she'll be majoring in industrial engineering, and her grade point average, 4.4. Congratulations. Christian Ashlock. Again, it seems like it just doesn't get any better, but it does. This young man, 4 years at our school, and the tremendous accomplishments are beyond compare. A member for 4 years of our math championship team, our Math Honor Society, Mu Alpha Theta. He serves as vice president. He's also part of that first place calculus team that defeated every high school, including the IB high schools. National Honor Society, where he's a historian. He participated in the multi-$1,000 robotics project first. He traveled with the team, did a great job. He's very active in student government, participated in elections throughout his 4 years here, member of the Spanish National Honor Society, member of the academic team, team that took second place a year ago, also a county finalist this year. He also was a member of the Economics Quiz Bowl team for our school, participated in the Florida High School Model United Nations Club. English Student of the Year, Science Student of the Year, AP Scholars with Honors. In fact, he received 4 perfect scores of 5 advanced placement examinations he took. Tremendous. During his tenure at our school, he's also received a first place in school in the American High School Mathematics exam. He's a National Councils of Teachers of English National Writing Award winner. Again, less than 400 selected nationwide. He's a National Merit finalist. He's received his academic letter and chevrons each year. He's a Rensselaer Institute for Achievement of Math and Science. He's a Social Studies Pride Award winner, and he is our co-salutatorian. This young man's grade point average, as Sue's, 4.4. Congratulations.
And the award goes to Titanic.
No. Actually, Christian, this says, welcome to the graduation of Eastlake High School's class of 98.
For the first freshman class of Mr. Masseni.
We've been asked to talk to you today about responsibility.
Not that we know anything about it.
I guess we should know something about this topic since we've made it this far. Upon graduation, we will have successfully completed the first chapter of our lives.
When we sat down to write our speech, we decided we didn't want to lecture anyone, since we know many have faced more challenges than we have.
We simply decided that we'd share our thoughts about responsibility and what lies ahead in the future.
Plus, I am very, very responsible.
Oh, sure. Like that time you lost your grandma at Busch Gardens.
I found her, eventually, in the monkey pit. But anyways, we thought we'd look back upon the responsibilities most of us have taken on in the last 4 years.
We've grown up a lot with our experiences at Eastlake. We came to high school as short, naive freshmen and are leaving as mature young adults.
Sue, you were never short.
Christian, you never grew up.
Well, let's get back on track. As we progressed through high school, we gained more and more independence. We were allowed to stay out later, have more freedom, and make more of our own decisions. The big break came when we got our driver's licenses. I'm sure everyone here can remember the exhilaration of taking their first driver's test, and for some of us, the abject humiliation of failing that test, and having to take the driver's test over again, and failing it again, and again, and...
Oh, it'll be okay, Christian.
Thanks, Sue.
With independence comes responsibility. We had to balance our new freedoms with our commitment to making the right decisions. Many of us found time to take up our first job. Work provided us with money and experience, but also presented the challenge of maintaining our other obligations, such as academics, athletics, and extracurricular activities.
Many of these responsibilities may relate to what we will encounter in the quote-unquote real world.
In high school, being late to class resulted in detentions, referrals, and possibly Saturday school.
In the real world, tardiness may result in the loss of a job, failure to get promoted, or being audited by the IRS.
In high school, teachers assigned many time-consuming projects, such as leaf and bug collections, animal dissections, and book reports.
In the real world, we'll have to remember all these projects because we'll have to help our children do the same ones all over again.
In high school, we became more familiar with technology, utilizing such references as internet for many of our projects.
In the real world, computer skills will be critical to landing a job. Plus, they'll let us download pictures from the internet in our spare time at work.
In high school, competition helped us to perfect our athletic abilities.
And finally, in the real world, we'll have to let our boss beat us at golf.
As we reach this turning point in our lives, it is time to accept another very important responsibility. The responsibility, no matter what path we choose, to make the absolute most of our lives.
Now is the time to seize life. Don't take risks and don't settle for mediocrity.
Find something you love, something that makes you happy, and pursue it with all of your dedication.
You're right, Sue. I'm going to be the best dang rodeo clown I can be.
A rodeo clown?
Oh yeah.
You'll get stabbed by a bull.
Well, I'm going to get stabbed by a bull to my fullest potential.
Well, whatever you decide to do, Christian, all that matters is that you put forth your best effort and never give up.
Everyone here has accomplished much over the past 4 years, and there's many we owe thanks to for helping us get this far.
We'd like to thank all of our teachers that worked so hard to ensure that we receive the very best education.
We'd like to thank all of our parents who've been there to support and guide us for so many years. And my parents never fail to point out, life is going to be a lot more complicated when we're on our own.
We'd like to thank our friends for listening to our problems, sharing the good times and the bad, and always knowing how to make us laugh.
Damien. And I'd like to thank my friends in particular for putting up with thousands of bad jokes over the last 4 years.
We'd like to finish this up by reading a poem that we feel captures our message.
The poem is If by Rudyard Kipling.
If you can keep your head when all about you are losing theirs and blaming it on you. If you can trust yourself when all men doubt you, but make allowance for their doubting too. If you can wait and not be tired by waiting, or being lied about, don't deal in lies. Or being hated, don't give way to hating. And yet, don't look too good nor talk too wise. If you can dream and not make dreams your master, if you can think and not make thoughts your aim, if you can meet with triumph and disaster and treat those two impostors just the same, if you can bear to hear the truth you've spoken twisted by knaves to make a trap for fools, or watch the things you gave your life to broken and stoop and build them up with worn-out tools.
If you can make one heap of all your winnings and risk it in one turn of pitch and toss, and lose and start again at your beginnings, and never breathe a word about your loss, if you can force your heart and your nerve and your sinew to serve you long after they are gone, and so hold on when there is nothing in you, except the will which says to them, hold on. If you can talk with crowds and keep your virtue, or walk with kings nor lose the common touch, if neither foes nor friends can hurt you, if all men count with you, but none too much, if you can fill the unforgiving minute with 60 seconds worth of distance run, yours is the earth and everything that's in it, and which is more, you'll be a man, my son. Thank you very much.
Tremendous job. At this time, I'd like Veronica Berry to please come forward. Veronica? Veronica is going to give our commencement address on decision making, but I want to share some things about her. This young lady had a tremendous task this year. She was our student government president. She's also president of the Florida Future Educators of America. She's involved with the Youth Engineering and Science program for 3 years. She's vice president of our Multicultural Committee. She's been involved in a number of plays in our drama department, member of Thespians. She's a member of Tri-Birth, the Medieval Club. She's a member of the Students' Rights and Responsibilities for the past 4 years. In fact, she is our liaison with the school board. She's been a member of the Superintendent's Advisory Committee for 4 years, a member of Students Against Drunk Driving, Future Homemakers of America, the Spanish Club, the Lit Magazine. She's attended numerous state and district conventions for the Florida Future Educators of America and for student government. She's a member of our STEP program. She's also a member of our School Advisory Council. In the community, she works diligently. She's worked for Building Homes for Humanity. She's tutored at Chichi Rodriguez. She's a role model for DARE. She's been Student of the Month while at Eastlake 6 years in a row. She's been awarded the Joseph L. Carwise Academic Achievement Award. She's received the Outstanding Service Award for Student Government. She's been consistently on the honor roll and dean's list. She's received this year's Assistant Principal's Award, and she's received the Mac Williams Award for Academic Achievement for 4 years running. And finally, take a good look at her, because you will see her again. You will see her on covers of magazines, newspapers, who knows. I really admire her. This past year, at the end of her junior year, they tried to coerce her into dropping out of school, going to New York, and pursuing a modeling career. And she had her head on straight. She finished her high school education here. She's going to go on to bigger and better things. In fact, when she leaves here, she goes to Miami to begin her modeling sessions and up to New York. She's modeled on Black Entertainment Television. She's been featured in Style Magazine. In the Elite Look of the Year contest in Florida, where over 1,200 young ladies from around the state compete, she was first runner-up. And she's participated in a number of runway shows. And I'll tell you right now, you won't find a finer young lady than this one. You're going to hear some big things about her in the future. Veronica, congratulations.
School board members, faculty and staff, guests, and the class of 1998, welcome. In life, proper decision-making is an important factor in becoming an adult. You will come across many obstacles during your lifetime. The right or wrong decision can impact your future forever. Everyone must make decisions in his or her lifetime, and this decision-making process begins when we're young and we acquire our first friends. When we begin elementary school, we make friends, people with whom we want to play games with or just hang out. Our friends tempt us to do things that would have serious consequences. This is where we begin to make decisions that affect not only ourselves, but how others view us as well, especially our parents. My mom always wanted me in the house by the time the street lights went on in the neighborhood. My friends always wanted me to stay out longer, saying it was all right to be late. But I fought her temptation because I wanted my parents' trust, and I knew they were looking out for my best interest. As we entered middle school, the peer pressure was on. We had to decide whether or not to give in to peer pressure of our peers. Some of us followed it, and others were strong enough to stand up to it. Every middle school child wants to be accepted into the in crowd. This group makes demands that may not complement our beliefs. That's when we must stand up and say no, and follow our good sense and make a good decision. With high school came immense responsibility and a desire for independence. We had to succeed with our studies. learn to drive a car, and join the workforce. That's pretty intimidating. Studying became a priority because it affected our grades, which we needed to continue our education beyond high school. Driving a car demanded responsibility because we had to make decisions that could mean life or death. And a real test for our decision making came with our first job, such as being dependable and trustworthy for our employer. With all this growing up, we gained a different perspective of how important the decisions are that we make in life. These decisions have established our future paths in life. When I think of decision making, only one thing comes to mind, and that's college. College is the biggest decision that most of us have ever made. What do I want to do with my life? Is the first big question. Then others follow, such as which college is the best for me? How much money does it cost? Am I going to live on campus? What do I want to study? When these decisions are made, we can begin the next phase of our lives. College will open the doors and give us opportunities that our parents and grandparents never had. It will determine your adult life. It's the difference between flipping burgers at minimum wage at a fast food chain or owning the fast food chain. Well, I know my answer is right for me. I hope you know yours as well. Decisions, decisions, decisions are an everyday occurrence. What clothes to wear, what to eat, or even what's my major or calling in life. These questions plague our minds. The answer lies within you. You have to make the right decision. No one else can decide for you, even though they might try sometimes. You're your own individual and determine your own worth. So my fellow classmates, may you each make the best decisions that will make you happy and succeed in life. Thank you.
Tremendous job. This time I'd like to have Jessica Giordano come forward and Jamie Sanford. While Jamie's making her way forward, they're going to sing a song for our class and for you. I want to just tell you a little bit about them as well. This young lady's been a consistent member of the Dean's List and Honor Roll, Secretary of the National Honor Society, Editor-in-Chief of our Erie Literary Magazine. She's been a participant in the Pride Awards and NCTE Writing Awards, member of the Drama Club, where she's been involved in a number of plays with our Thespian Society. She's ranked in the top 20 of our senior class, and she will be attending the University of Florida. Congratulations, Jessica. Jamie Sanford, and they're used to this. My knees are knocking right now, but they're always on stage all year long, so I know they're used to this. Vice President of the Drama Club for Jamie, honor member of the International Thespian Society, member of the debate team, member of the Erie Literary Magazine staff. She earned excellent and superior ratings at the district and state levels at thespian competition. She was chosen as artistic assistant to the director, and Mr. Shaver, he needs all the help he can get, that's for sure. She received a 6.0 on the Florida Rights test, just a tremendous score. She'll be attending the University of Florida. She also recently, at the award ceremony, was selected as the 1998 recipient at East Lake High School of the Golden Mask Award, and that's given to the student who has demonstrated tremendous acting achievement over 4 years at our school. And in all of this, she works about 20 hours a week at Publix. Most of these kids do. I don't know how they do it and come to school and perform as well as they do. But ladies, tremendous year. Congratulations. See, I get to listen to that every day. I wish you could. Next, I'd like Amy Dennis to come forward. Amy? Amy's going to be delivering an address, a look at the past, and she is our senior class president. A little story before I tell you about her. She'll probably be upset that I'm going to say this, but too bad. As a high school principal, you're being tugged in 25 different directions sometimes during the day. At Eastlake, maybe less, because it's such a great school and community and kids. But I try to make myself as accessible to the kids as I possibly can. And they'll come into my office unannounced daily, and I don't mind that at all. And it happened with Amy one time. 2 years ago, I'm at my desk, and my head's down, and doing some work, and I hear this little knock on the door, and I look up, and there's this young lady, she's crying, and, "Hey, Mr. Massey, I need some help." Well, okay, what do you need? And she played on the varsity softball team, and she was so into Eastlake High School, she wanted to run for class office, and she knew, giving her heart and soul in everything she does, she knew she couldn't do both, and she was coming to me for me to make a decision for her. And what should I do? Should I stay with softball? Should I get into student government? And my response to her was, you won't make the wrong decision, because whatever you do, you will be involved. If you go with softball, you'll make it happen on the other hand. And if you're involved in something else, you're going to make it happen. That's the type of person you are. Well, she ended up turning out to be the senior class president. That's what kind of chemistry this young lady has within her. She's only missed 3 days of school, consistently a member of the honor roll dean's list. As I said, senior class president, National Honor Society, junior class representative as well, Spanish club, Students Against Drunk Driving. She plays softball for us. She was a principal's brunch honoree. She's who's who among American high school students. She's a member of our school advisory council, and those are long evenings once a month. I don't know how she did all this. She won the Assistant Principal's Award this year as well. She's a DARE role model for our local elementary schools. She's volunteered at the Dunedin Art Harvest Children's Tent. She's helped coordinate AIDS Awareness Week at our school. She's a member of the prom committee. She kept statistics for our varsity football team the past two seasons. She volunteers consistently at local elementary schools as well. And she's going to be attending the University of South Florida next year. Now, on behalf of our school, this senior class, and this principal, thanks for a tremendous job.
Good morning, school board members, faculty, parents, and guests. The class of 1998 has made it. This is our day to shine. As we sit here on the stage, ready to receive our diplomas, we remember the past 4 years at Eastlake High School. We carry these wonderful memories with us as we take this great step toward our future. Together, we have grown and learned valuable skills so we may move forward today as mature, responsible young adults. 4 years ago, the class of 1998 entered Eastlake High School as immature adolescents. We came from different middle schools, some from Tarpon, Carwise, Palm Harbor, Safety Harbor, and of course those of us who moved here from out of state, including me. But this class is not the only newcomer to the school. Mr. Masseni began his job as principal of Eastlake that year also. We can remember his voice yelling down the hall, "Walk and talk, stay to the right," and the thousands of dollars in scholarships we heard each and every morning in the announcements. Mr. Masseni has definitely proven to truly be a tremendous principal. He made our first year at Eastlake extremely welcoming for us. This strange thing called homecoming soon rolled around, and let's just say we were clueless. We didn't even have a skit. Once that obstacle was over, and what a relief that was, the year began moving at a steadier pace. Before we knew it, Miss Henry had us out chasing insects in the fields behind the school for our insect projects. We soon became aware of the different clubs and sports we could become involved in. By the time summer came, we were happy and relieved to have had our first year of high school under our belts. Sophomore year arrived quicker than expected. We were especially glad to pass the title of freshman on to the incoming class. We were on our way to becoming upperclassmen, but we still had a year to go. Many of us got our licenses that year, and those of us who didn't just bummed rides off everyone else. Riding the cheese wagon was definitely worth avoiding. Our newfound freedom introduced us to jobs, and of course those wonderful high school parties we attended every once in a while after hours of sitting around in parking lots wondering where we should go or what we should do. Junior year arrived with a bang. It was time to buckle down. HSCTs, ACTs, and SATs made our little lives miserable. But we were determined to get through it, for we were all anxiously awaiting our senior year. The class of 1998 couldn't be beat in tug-of-war during homecoming week. But December 31st, 1996, is a day that brought much sadness to all of us. A member of our class, Jonathan Sklar, was killed in an automobile accident. He will forever live in our memories. When we finally got our lives back on track, our junior year began to wind down. Through many hours of organizing and assembling props, the class of 1998 successfully put on an out-of-this-world and memorable Celestial Starlight Prom. Finally, it was the grand finale. This year arrived in full force. It all began with purchasing our senior IDs so we could buy our parking spot. Fortunately, we didn't have to wake up in the wee hours in the morning to be the first in line to buy one. Instead, we had a stampede after school, nearly trampling any freshman who got in our way. We sent transcripts and resumes off to colleges and were updated monthly on the latest scholarships to apply for. And how could we forget our 41-19 victory over the school to the west this football season? Then came homecoming and yearbooks and senior t-shirts, then cap and gowns, prom, senior breakfast, and lastly, our final hurrah this evening, Eagle Flight Night. Nobody said that senior year was going to be cheap. It seemed like every week we were shelling out money for something. As the year continued, senioritis grew stronger and stronger. On Monday morning, we were greatly looking forward to that bell on Friday afternoon. But in April of this year, another classmate of ours passed away. Lindsay Gagliano will never be forgotten, and I'm sure she is here with us today. As life continued, many of us attended our senior prom, Secret Garden. We had a great time and take with us many fond memories. Now, here we are, anxiously waiting for our names to be announced to walk across the stage to receive our diplomas. We are proud of our accomplishments, and our memories will forever be a part of our lives. Let us not forget one another or the past years we have shared. Thank you to the faculty and our parents for your guidance and support throughout the years. We can't thank you enough. To my fellow graduates, only you can choose which road to take. Set goals for yourself. Each and every one of you is capable of accomplishing anything if you put your heart and soul into it. I would like to end my speech with a poem by Dorothy Nell MacDonald. I wish you love and strength and faith and wisdom, goods, gold enough to help some needy one. I wish you songs, but also blessed silence, and God's sweet peace when every day is done. Until we meet again in the year 2008, good luck and God bless.
Tremendous job, Amy. This time I'd like Steve Ostrowski to please come forward. Stephen? Steve is our valedictorian for this school year. I want to share with you not some things, but a number of things of this young man. While most of us find time in the summer to vacation or to take time away from school, this young man has been very, very busy. And I want to read to you some of the things that he's done over the summer. He was a member of and involved in our Duke University, in the Duke University TIP program. That's the Talent Identification Program, 3 years consecutively. He took macroeconomics, algebra 2, and computer science 101 as college credit. In fact, he earned a trophy from Duke University's TIP Master Programmer. He was a participant in the National Science Foundation, Florida State University's Young Scholars Program, where he participated in a 6-week instruction and research intensive program, which he attended on a full scholarship. 36 students from all of Florida were selected from over 250 applicants to participate. He was one of those. The classes that he took consisted of discrete mathematics, where he placed in the top 3 in his class, computer programming, again placing in the top 3, and modern physics. For his research over the summer, that included working under Dr. Robert Reeves, professor of biology, under a grant from SmithKline Beecham, to clone tRNA genes in E. coli bacteria and inserting them via plasmid into a commercial strain of bacteria that would then be able to produce human proteins more efficiently. He was responsible for directly handling of modern microbiology laboratory equipment and procedures in genetic engineering. And that's how this young man spent his summers. He's a member of Mu Alpha Theta, our math championship club. He is our Sunshine State Scholar. He is the Mathematics Student of the Year. He is the School Pride Award winner in mathematics. He is proficient in the language of German, where recently he was the recipient and one of 3 recipients of a national scholarship to travel to Germany, sponsored by Lufthansa Airlines and the American Association of Teachers of German. He will spend 1 month abroad studying the German culture and language. He was selected for the Pinellas County Academic All-Star Team, one of 6 in the county to compete at the state level, where the team finished 3rd in the most populous division of schools. He was selected for the All-Star Team again this year, where they placed 6th in the state. He has participated in a number of numerous essay contests. He's won the Holocaust Memorial Project Essay Award. He's also won the 1997 Veterans of Foreign Wars Tarpon Springs Post Essay Contest as well. He was voted most academic as a senior standout. He is a National Merit Finalist. He is the 1998 Outstanding Senior. He is the 1998 most likely to be a millionaire superlative that the senior class voted him. President of our Math Championship Honor Society, Mu Alpha Theta, Vice President of the German Club, President of the German Honor Society, Captain of the academic team. He volunteers throughout the community in Palm Harbor, in the library, with National Honor Society, and with other service groups in beach cleanup. Works with the East Lake Fire Department as well. Academic team, AP Club, Speech and Debate Club, German Honor Society, National Honor Society, Mu Alpha Theta. He too participated in the first competition, the multi-$1,000 robotics project. He is one of the people I mentioned earlier that scored a perfect score in the SAT. He scored an 800 on the math portion, and he scored a perfect score on the math level 2C. His scores in his AP classes, his AP test that he took, in fact, he took a total of 11 advanced placement exams. He scored a 5 on biology, a 5 on American history, a 5 on calculus, and a 5 in English. His GPA, and he ranks #1 for the class of 1998, 4.52. This young man's got nothing but the best to look forward to. Opportunity to use this forum to address his family as well. Your love and your involvement in your son's life mirrors his performance at our school, and I'm proud to be his principal. Congratulations.
Good morning. I'd like to start off thanking the people who have kept me motivated throughout the years. First of all, my family, who has supported all my decisions and all my efforts, my extracurricular activities, and who has been a stepladder to my achievement. Also, I'd like to thank all of my teachers. Each one has helped me in some way to achieve my success. 2 particular thank yous go out to my best friend, Jared Ryan, who has been one of the few true friends I've known and who has been a big support over the last couple of years, and to Mr. Keith Garton, who believed in my ability to direct my own life and who has stood behind me through the good and bad. Thank you all for being the gates that I've gone through to standing here now and to my academic accomplishments. I've been asked to speak today about a look ahead, which is pretty odd since I'm nearsighted, but it was looking at books that earned me this position, not looking at the horizon. But now that it's all over, I'm seeing only travel, long summer days with no responsibility, and mornings beginning at 11 a.m. instead of 6 a.m. Everything seems to be turning out great, but aren't we supposed to be entering that place our parents always warn us about, the real world? Well, all of a sudden the future doesn't look so sunny. The 20th century has left us tons of improvements, it seems. Everything from personal radios, televisions, movies, automobiles, penicillin, civil rights movements, the computer and the internet, to more dubious improvements such as the birth control pill, nuclear weapons, biological warfare, and Bill Clinton. But we were also left with enormous problems that are beginning to surface and that are going to reach their peak and threaten humanity during our lifetime. Here are some bright looks ahead. In the year 2010, almost 100 million people are estimated to be infected with HIV. By the end of the next century, many believe global temperatures will rise up to 6 degrees Fahrenheit, which is a significant amount since the Earth has only warmed 6 degrees since the last ice age. By 2020, we'll have almost 8 billion people on our planet, while at the same time, food production is going to decrease to 65% of what it is today per person. In order to make room for ourselves, we are destroying forests at the rate of several square miles a week and rainforests at 50 acres per minute. Right now, we're seeing Pakistan defying international nuclear policy and testing nuclear weapons, increasing tensions with India, who has done likewise. But we may be lucky and not have to see any of these problems if current medical behaviors continue. The abuse of antibiotics by our physicians and the ignorance of many of us who take medication to help a 2-day cold are producing some powerfully resistant strains of bacteria and viruses that could wipe us out faster than you can read your Mayo Clinic health book. As a result, we're limiting our own evolution and quickening that of organisms that can kill us. I guess nature doesn't like to be messed with. The effects of these crises are not very pretty. We are looking at the depleting resources, leading to increased starvation and malnutrition. We are looking at 100 plant and animal species going extinct each day. We are looking at the depletion of our ozone that protects us from cosmic radiation. We are looking at the spread of new and more deadly diseases as we encroach upon the rainforests. But why are we just looking when we could be doing something about these and future problems? Surprisingly, what we fail to realize is that our behavior is the determining factor in the progression of these problems. Our major killers are mostly preventable, with responsible sexual behavior to limit HIV, stopping smoking and drinking that cause so many cancer and health problems, and exercising and nutrition that we know today prevent cancer and heart disease. But surely we can't be the ones to blame, right? I mean, lots of people smoke, and heroes like Dennis Rodman and Madonna are promiscuous, so we're not doing anything devastating, right? Think again. Another thing we're looking at is the time period when these problems are going to be at their peaks. During the first half of the century, we'll be the ones in our productive years, from our 20s throughout our middle lives. Although it may not seem possible now, we are going to be the ones leading the world at these crucial moments. And our decisions as voters and citizens of humanity are going to determine whether these problems get solved or whether we become the examples of what not to do for future life to follow. Now, this isn't meant to rain on our graduation day. After all, we're in a building anyway. Just mentioning these problems and worrying over them isn't going to change anything. It is crucial that we become aware of the problems that will arise if we as a society continue these behaviors, that we confront these problems responsibly, and that we contribute our efforts to resolve them. Luckily, a solution is possible, for the 20th century has also left us in a time where education is valuable, and where each person can make an impact on this world if they put in their effort. I'm glad to see so many of us going to college, gaining an education that will allow us to confront these problems intelligently. More than any other group in the past, coming before us, we have the potential to change the world. I ask us, the class of 1998, to look at the future not as an inescapable disaster, but as an opportunity. An opportunity not for extorting consumers to make millions of dollars for ourselves, but more importantly than any in the past, an opportunity to save our species. Thank you.
The faculty member this year that has been selected to deliver the commencement address on behalf of our faculty is Mr. James Bergson. Mr. Bergson, will you come forward. Mr. Bergeson's been a social studies teacher for 10 years. He teaches dual enrollment classes at our school. He also has been to Japan, where he was an exchange teacher for 1 year recently. He's been twice listed as Who's Who among American teachers. He's our head junior varsity football coach that recently took us to an undefeated junior varsity season. He's been invited to Tallahassee 2 times as a guest instructor for the Governor's Summer Law Conference. And he also enjoys music, art, and sports. Mr. Bergeson, this is quite an honor, and congratulations.
Tough act to follow, I tell you, Steve. Impressive. And Mr. Masseni put a little pressure on me before I came up here. He told me if I didn't use the word tremendous at least 5 times in my speech, I was going to be in a little trouble, so I'm going to try to work that in. And Mr. Masseni, you were remiss in your speech. Of all the great accomplishments that Eastlake High is recognized for, he missed one that is very dear to my heart. And that is, for the first time in the history of Eastlake High, the football team brought home the district championship. So I wanted to make sure we got that in there. Distinguished school board members, faculty, parents, and of course the class of 1998, it is indeed an honor to have been chosen to give the commencement address at this year's graduation. I've been truly blessed to have spent the last 10 years of my life at arguably one of the finest institutions of learning in the state of Florida. In that time, I've witnessed many of my colleagues give the very address that I'm going to attempt to do today. I've seen Mr. Dave Everling, a math teacher at our school, share his incredible wit and unique sense of humor. A good friend of mine, Mr. Dan Engel, shared his immense wisdom with the students in a speech several years ago. And last year, my boss, Social Studies Department Head, Mr. O'Donnell, gave a great speech, very emotional because his son was graduating. One of the true intellects, great intellects of anyone I've ever met in my life. This year, the senior class, when faced with this question, went in a little bit different direction. All right, when they took the vote this year, if it was a multiple choice, A, let's go with a real intellectual. B, let's go with somebody that's really wise. C, let's go with someone that's real witty. This class chose D, none of the above. Though certainly not as qualified as speakers of the past, there is a little advice I would like to give these fine young people. In the 15 years since I sat in their place, I have learned some things I think could help them in the future. Today I would like to address the following topics: preparation for success and involvement in your community. You have all taken the first step towards preparing yourself to succeed in society by graduating from high school. Now comes the most crucial time, where you must acquire marketable skills that you can use to earn a living. For some of you, this means heading off to college. 98%. Wow, that's an incredible stat. To those people, I would like to give you a few pointers. First of all, the list, incredible. Stanford, MIT, Georgia Tech, and of course, yes, the few, the proud, that are going to attend the Harvard of the South, Florida State University. I'm going to share with you some information that you might not be aware of. When you go off to college across this great land of ours, when you get there, you're going to find out that there are a few more things going on than just academics. All right, you may not have been aware of that. Unfortunately, though, I've seen many promising futures go up in smoke. All right? Freshmen get caught up in the college life and forget about what they're there for, and that is to get a quality education. Please don't make that mistake. Don't just try to get through school. All right? So many people just stay up the night before a test and cram it in and then forget the stuff the next day. All right? Use your time wisely. Internalize the information and learn how to think. That's the greatest gift that college can give to you. And make learning a lifelong endeavor. You can never have too much education. One of the great Greek philosophers was sitting outside one day, and a young man happened upon him. And the young man recognized this philosopher and said to him, You are truly the wisest person in the world. You are the smartest person this world has ever seen. And the philosopher sat there and listened to the young man, didn't say anything. And when the young man was done, the philosopher said, "All I know is that I know nothing." All right? To me, that says, no matter how smart you are, it just makes you realize that there's even more information out there that you don't know. Never stop in the quest for knowledge. For those of you who aren't going to college, I also have some advice. Whether you're going into the armed forces, all right, to serve in our great nation's military, or attending some technical school, do it now. I've heard many, again through the years, many kids saying, "I'm going to take a year off. I'm just going to relax for a while. You know, I just got through high school. I'm going to relax." Well, for many of those people, the next year never comes. Do it now. Make your mark. No matter what your choice, realize that you are never alone in this journey. Your parents that have loved you and nurtured you for years are your biggest fans. Take advantage of their experience. I remember when I graduated, I thought I knew everything. I was convinced that my parents didn't have a clue. It's amazing, though, as the years go by, every year my parents get a whole lot smarter. And it's not the fact that they're getting smarter. I'm finally realizing just how knowledgeable they are. There's no substitute for experience. The second thing I would like to talk to you about is being involved. Being a government teacher, I feel very strongly about participating in the democratic process. A great teacher instilled this in me at a very young age, and I was not shy about sharing my opinion. Got in a little trouble. It was a Thanksgiving at the Bergeson household. All the relatives came over, including my Uncle Norm, who was a rather large man and a lawyer, and we started talking politics. I'm 12 years old, he's 60, but I'm talking politics. And he started criticizing the president. He started criticizing congressmen and the government, and they're all crooks, and they don't know what they're doing. And I asked him one simple question: "Who did you vote for in the last election?" And his response to me was, "I didn't vote. I didn't like any of the candidates." Well, being the rather aggressive young man that I was, I told him, "Well, then you better pipe down, because you don't have a right to speak if you didn't take the time to vote." All right, needless to say, I was very popular at family gatherings. My uncle, though, has a lot of company. Barely over 50% of the American eligible voters vote for the most powerful position in the world. All right, and that is President of the United States. For state and local elections, the percentage is much lower. I challenge you, the class of 1998, all right, to do better than your predecessors did. Along with democratic participation, it is also imperative to be involved in your community. Many of you already are doing this. You've heard the stories of East Lake students who have volunteered in hospitals, who have volunteered at schools, who have cleaned up roads. You are truly to be commended. I hope that the Educational Commissioner and the state legislature have the wisdom to make this mandatory for all students and make this a lifelong practice. All right, make your community a better place to live for everyone. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was asked a question on a college campus many years ago. The question posed to him was, "At what point in the history of the world would you have most wanted to live?" He reflected on Athens in the 5th century, the time of Pericles, Socrates. He reflected on Florence and Rome at the time of the Renaissance, Egypt at the time of Moses, Jerusalem at the time of Jesus, and Philadelphia at the time of our founding fathers. And then he paused and he said, "No, this is the greatest time in the history of the world." Class of 1998, you can learn from that. This is indeed the greatest time in the history of the world, because this is your time. All right, make the best of it. You are entering the, quote, real world at the eve of a new millennium. All right, the world is changing at an amazing rate as we enter the information age. Those who aren't prepared will be left behind. It is now up to you, the class of 1998, to chart your own course to success. Use the lessons you have learned at East Lake wisely. I wish you all the best in the future. Take care, and God bless. Nice job, Mr. Borges. At this time,
time, I'd like Andrew Fernandez to come forward for the presentation of the class gift. Andrew?
Ladies and gentlemen, students and staff, good morning. Today it is with great pleasure that I present Eastlake High School with a gift and appreciation for all that they have done for the class of 1998. In the 4 years since we have attended, not only have we had the greatest opportunity for education in the county, but we've had one of the greatest facilities in which to do it. It is everyone's responsibility, here or there, to maintain the character of our school that we have all worked so hard to develop. Therefore, the class of 1998 is honored to present Eastlake High School with a new marquee for the front of the school. It is our belief that this gift will not only present an impressive first impression to not only the staff but as well as the community and serve as a lasting reminder of the class of 1998. As we walk across this stage today, it is not without the priceless gift of knowledge from both teachers and staff. Let our gift serve as a small token of our infinite gratitude towards all that you have done for us. Thank you.
Thank you very much. On behalf of our school, that's much needed, and we appreciate it. That's great. At this time, I'd like the senior choir members to please come forward. While they're coming forward, I'll share this with you. Mr. Knabel, our music teacher, will be leading them in the alma mater. A number of these students this past year sang at Carnegie Hall, only one of 6 high schools to be invited to sing at Carnegie Hall. And next year, they're going even one step bigger. They'll be singing at the Mormon Tabernacle. I would ask that everyone please rise at this time for the singing of our alma mater. It's located in the back of your program. You may follow along. Before I individually present to each of our graduates their diplomas and move their tassels, let me pronounce the following. Seniors, by the authority vested in me by the state of Florida, the Commissioner of Education, and the School Board of Pinellas County, I pronounce you 1998 graduates of Eastlake High School.